Hello friends, welcome to Mushkil Ashan. I am Charlotte DeCosta, clinical psychologist, National Institute of Behavioral Sciences. Our topic for today is going to be labeling. Labeling is describing someone or something in a word or a short phrase. It helps us to categorize people. Today we are going to discuss how labeling students affects them. But today we are not only going to focus on the negative parts, we will also see the other side of the coin. Let us first begin with how do we usually label students and why do we? In our earlier segments, we have discussed regarding specific learning disability disorders like children who have difficulty with reading, writing, mathematics particularly, or are hyperactive, have attention difficulties. Usually what they try to avoid is the education part, and that is the reason sometimes because of their poor performance in school and the inability of the teachers to understand the difficulty of the child is usually labeled either as a backbencher or as someone who's unable to do the studies or is not up to the mark. Now, sometimes when we are categorizing these individuals, these children, if the teacher and the parents, who are both the caregivers of the child, if they don't believe in the ability of the child himself or herself stops believing in himself or herself, and that causes low self-esteem. They start seeing themselves as someone who's incapable because the teacher or the parent starts labeling them as someone who's incapable. They also have lower expectations, and not only they but even the teacher starts having lower expectations from them. And somehow the child also understands that. This also affects the child in a negative way. Children who are usually labeled also experience peer issues. Peer issues as in, all of us have attended school, most of us did, and most of us have faced peer issues, knowingly, unknowingly. Now, let's see it by an example. Let's see a funny example. Imagine you were able to answer in a class and which nobody else was able to, but you stood up and you answered in class. And right after the teacher leaves, everybody starts saying that, so you're studying a lot, so you know everything, so you know all the answers. Now they say it jokingly, but somehow it might affect the child. Now let's see the negative way. Someone who is always labeled as incapable or backbencher, poor in studies, bad boy. The moment the teacher leaves the class, other students who are present there do make fun of the child. And that in turn also affects the child. The child starts being isolated, withdrawn, does not interact, and when these symptoms are seen, it becomes difficult for us as professionals to understand the child because the child is actually moving into a shell. If we are unable to assess what is the actual difficulty of the child, the right treatment is also difficult. However, sometimes when children are labeled as children having some specific disability, like in a class of 40, if the teacher is labeling at least 2 or 3 children as someone with specific learning disability, it helps the teacher to have an individualized education plan, which means that the child is taught in a different way than the rest of the class. Extra learning support is also given to the child. Specialized instruction is also made to be available to the child. So there are certain positives when we categorize someone in the class, because all the fingers are not the same way all the students in the class are also not the same. Few have special needs, and when their needs are not met, their way of expressing is also different from others. Few of them become destructive, few of them become introvert, few of them starts becoming hyperactive, few become disobedient. So the expressions that we receive from the child as someone who is inattentive, restless, aggressive, disobedient, they are all the upper layers. Within, we as teachers, as parents, have to understand that the child is having some specific issue which the child himself or herself is incapable of dealing with. So rather than labelizing the child in a negative way, let us label the child in a positive way. And the effects that we are going to see is going to be magic. Still, if you are unable to deal with the child, or you as a parent or as a teacher is confused how you should be dealing with the child, do take the help of certain specialized programs or take the help of some professional. And if you have any question regarding this, do write to us. We will definitely get back to you. If you've liked this video, do like, share and subscribe. Till then, take care. Goodbye.